Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in to another episode of the Penny Bloom Podcast. And if you are here, you know what time it is. It's time for the Sarlacc Soundwave, baby, with a variant of the Bitches 4. I am Colton Robertson, joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
What up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to have you, buddy. And what's up, Miles motherfucking Buttress? How you doing, homie?
Hey, happy to be here as part of the Fets Fuckboys.
The Fets Fuckboys. God, I love it. God, I love it. And joined for the first time on the Sarlacc Soundwave, for the first time since the Bad Batch Bitches, Tillman motherfucking McClunie. Glad to have you back, buddy. I know you weren't excited to go last year, and I assume I have some sort of accusation coming my way.
I'm not going to say anything. Miles already knows what it is. I'm sure everybody else does too, but
anybody who's been here before with Tillman, you know what it is.
It's good to be back. I've been so busy with school and working at the news station and whatnot for school along with that, but finally to be able to be back and have time to do this and not be completely exhausted, I'm happy to be back discussing the greatest franchise in the movie industry, in the history.
Oh, and I just knew, I had a feeling you'd be back at some point for the Book of Boba Fett, so I'm glad that you're joining us here early on with what is, to be honest, one of my single favorite pieces of Star Wars content ever. And I know I've said, we've talked The Mandalorian, we've done The Mandalorian rewatch, and there were spots in the Bad Batch where I was like, man, this just really makes me happy. I really love this. No, none of that shit touched this. Okay, there is one episode of The Mandalorian that I think is better than this, and it's that one.
Yeah, the one.
The one.
Yeah.
I can't express to you enough how much I fucking loved this episode. I'm going to lay the groundwork real quick. Air date, January 5th, 2022, titled The Tribes of Tatooine, written by Jon Favreau, directed by Steph Green, who also directed an episode of The Watchmen, Joe, so have a little bit of a connection there with the director previously. I fucking loved this episode. I want to get your guys' general thoughts before we jump into a little bit more of a scene-by-scene breakdown. Start with Joe. What you feeling?
You know, I didn't feel this way personally with episode 1, but some people were a little disappointed with it for some reason, and I don't know why, but that's how the general response that I got. But I think this episode, for all those people that were in that camp, the doubt is gone. The doubt's long gone. This is all right. The show, this is just episode 2, and it already has gotten this good. And
I'm out here if they give me another episode that I like more than this is automatically one of my favorite seasons of television of all time. Just because this was one of my favorite episodes of anything ever.
I don't know. I'm just trying to think of where they're going, what they could do. That's the Luke moment. What is that moment here? Or do they have one even planned?
I got some theories as to where we could be going potentially, and I'll get more into that when we got a kind of the scene by scene breakdown going. I got some pieces there, and I really didn't have a clue episode 1 at all, but this one kind of gave me a little bit more of a. It got the wheels turning a little bit more for me. Tillman, first timer on the Sarlacc Soundwave. How you feeling about the Book of Boba Fett so far, and more specifically this episode?
Just completely ecstatic and excited. I wasn't here for your guys' first episode of the podcast for the Fett series, but I am touched on what Joseph touched on. People that were disappointed, upset. I was first of all, you can't really be upset or disappointed on what we got for the first episode. First of all, it's the first episode, and then now we're on the second episode, and it just dives deeper into what we're probably going to see, which is more of Boba running, that part of the Outer Rim that that the Hutts, kind of entangle in. Jabba the Hutt, his territory, and now, he's claiming it as his own. But we're also seeing this past history of what occurred in between the time where he was swallowed and probably leading up to where we're watching now. And so people who were getting upset about the first episode, I'm just like, what were you expecting? Django and Boba Fett were these, kind of like side characters in the movies 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know what I'm saying? But like, yeah. So it's kind of like that. They were like side characters, as in they didn't have their own individual storyline that we saw or anything.
Right. Here's my thing: is that like mostly what I've seen a lot of dude bros mad that Boba Fett's not a unfeeling killing machine. Like most people are mad that he has a personality. Like it seems like that he is
unacceptable.
Oh my God! Like, God forbid Boba Fett smiles and have some fun.
I don't want a character. I want a killing machine.
Right? No, and
that feels no. I want Anakin Skywalker.
How can you be mad about the portrayal of a character who's had like a total of 15 minutes of screen time prior to this? Like, this man's hardly been on screen. He doesn't really have a story. So, like,
dude was just swallowed too, and like he was in a Sarlacc. Like. That's gotta suck. That experience, that gotta suck, man.
Yeah, he had some time to think
about.
That's
a life-changing experience right there. Yeah, that's a life-changing experience.
I mean, to parallel Boba Fett's role in the original trilogy to something that's kind of like, oh yeah, that's pretty much the same. If you gave him like a giant backstory in an extended universe and he became this built-up mythos, the swordsman in Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark that gets shot immediately. Like, if you just built that dude up completely and then gave him a series in 50 years, that's what Boba Fett is. I'm just like,
damn, that's true. They really did not have a lot to go off of at all. This is like all new story completely. Like,
yeah, I mean,
it's beautiful.
I do love that they're building on the like you see him grapple with the idea of having lost his father, and that's kind of the only emotional tie we have to Boba up until this episode. And I think it's just fucking awesome to see him with the Tusken Raiders. Like, that's so far and away my favorite part of the series. And we've got a fucking mob side of the story, which, like, I fucking love organized crime shit. So if like the other side of the story is better to me, that's insane.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm like, people sit back, relax, see what they have in store for us. It's one episode. People are so judgmental off of one episode. It's a story. It's a process. You're just reading the first couple pages of the manuscript. You're not seeing everything right there in front of you for understandable reason.
Yeah, it's one 35-minute episode. The second episode was like 51 minutes. So like clearly we're gonna be getting these at varying lengths. Like, it's like they make the length of the episode. They felt like they wanted to tell the story. They told the story. It's however long it is. Here, there you go.
Am I wrong in saying that it just seems that this show has less of a budget than Mandalorian had? Like, are there some like shortcomings in this? Or like, am I just I don't know. There are some visual things in this that just don't stand up to the Mandalorian, in my opinion. That's the only gripe I've had about the show, and it's not bad. Like, they're not bad.
I don't disagree with you entirely.
I'm just curious as to why.
My only theory is that we have seen now the way this the volume works. And like, we know that's what we're looking at, and therefore we can tell that's what we're looking at now.
That's kind of true. Like
I can tell when I'm looking at the volume, it's not the volume's fault. Like, It's absolutely not.
I don't
the
know.
volume
Yeah,
fault.
it's not like bad. It's not like it takes me out or anything. It's like just I don't know. It doesn't feel as cinematic as The Mandalorian maybe. Like
it feels more like serially, like a cartoon type feel to it. Like I think when they're on the fucking
Speeders,
and you see them from the front, and you see the Tusken riding behind Tamara, and it's just kind of like, oh, this like really looks fake, but it looks a lot like it did in the original trilogy. So there's also this thing where like I can't tell how much they're trying to honor the original works and try to mimic the way that felt, or if it truly is a shortcoming, like if they executed their vision exactly as they anticipated, then how can we say
which I think is interesting, Colton, because that's the same example I was going to use when Joseph was talking about that, was the speeders from the front. That's when I was watching and I was like, oh, hold it, that looked kind of but also we like that goes back to the fact that we have only seen these 2 episodes, so there might be certain things coming later that they save their budget or graphics for a lot of money putting into make it look more realistic. We just maybe don't know, but I mean, yeah, I definitely noticed that with the speeders, Joseph, how it looked up front, like, or certain things.
And see, that was the only shot with the speeders for me that it looked goofy too, because we see it from the side and from the back at multiple points, and it looks just like it did in The Mandalorian. But let's go to Miles. Miles, how'd you feel about this episode overall?
Before I say that, I just want to say for those scenes, aren't all the not flashback scenes, but aren't all the scenes where it's like his memories? Aren't they all kind of like? Do they ever? I know like at least at the beginning of those scenes, they have that like weird like
blue green
film effect over it. But don't they all kind of continue that along? Do they keep a kind of grainy effect the entire time, or do they return to like
they return to like a normal visual for a while?
I couldn't remember off the top of my head. Okay,
it's only at the beginning and the end of the dreams that I think he really sees that, because I think it's his waking up, going to sleep sort of haze.
So this episode though, loved it. I agree with you guys. To kind of touch on what Joseph and Tillman said about like the people that didn't like it, we call those people stupid people.
Stupid, idiotic motherfuckers.
Big dumb idiots is what they are.
Big dumb stupid pants.
Yeah. So when did this came out? Wednesday morning, right? That's when all these come out.
January 5th. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was that afternoon I was in the airport getting ready for a flight back to KC. And so I was originally planning on, I'll wait until I get back home. I'll watch it at home. I'll enjoy it. But then as I was sitting, we got to the airport like 4 hours before the flight because we had nothing to do because we were, done, and we decided, let's just go chill at the airport and, not have to worry about having to get back or anything like that. So I was just chilling there and I was like, you know what? Let's go and watch Book of Boba Fett. I don't feel like waiting that long. So I pulled it up on my laptop. I was just sitting in the airport chilling, and time fucking flew by. That 50 minutes, I looked down at one point and I was like, man, it doesn't. And then I looked and I was like, I'm 40 minutes in. What?
Yeah, there's like a point where like I thought the episode was going to end, and then we get like a little epilogue, which is like. Mm-hmm. And the epilogue where he goes on a fucking trip. We got a Star Wars drug trip.
Yeah, that was insane. That was insane.
And the drug was a lizard.
Well, and really was that spice too that he flicked in his face?
I think so.
I don't know. That might have been like some weird like where I was thinking it might have been some weird like desert dust shit. And that was why, like, the lizard jumped into his nose. It was like, I'm going after the dust.
It was chasing the dust. Yeah, I had the same thought too, but I wasn't sure because they just acquired the spice from the Pikes.
I thought it was just LCD introduced into the Star Wars universe.
Oh no, I think it was the lizard that did that to him.
Yeah, no, that's Dune spice.
Because he said the lizard would guide your mind.
They're just galaxies are far away, but they're like, Dune can travel to like Star Wars.
I like to think that like. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Dune's like now in a galaxy far, far away. It's just
that's dope. Yeah.
Just like futuristic Star Wars.
I really like that you pointed out, Colton, the whole like how like the first episode we all kind of agreed. We're like, we don't know where this is going. We know that we're going to get some flashbacks and some history of what happened to Boba Fett. We knew nothing else was going to happen. But now after this episode, I feel like there's some very clear like roads that they can go down on storytelling, and I just love it because I want to get some fucking Emilia Clarke as whatever her name is, like Kiara, right?
Kira. Yeah.
Kira. That's a fucking Kira.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Well, and I've got some like other theories too. To like potentially, I'm real excited. You guys want to get into the scene?
Before we do, I just want to say I want them to just for whatever reason revive. I'm blanking on his name. Double-sided lightsaber. Maul. I want them. I just couldn't remember his name. I want them to just bring him back one more time. Just be like, "Ha, jokes. He wasn't actually killed." Just because it'd be fucking awesome to see him in live action again for absolutely no reason.
And that last
it'd be the most
moment
pointless
where Ben
thing
Kenobi
ever.
is cradling Maul. He actually does exactly what Ben Solo did to Rey at the end of The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. They kiss. Yeah,
they kiss, and now Maul's pregnant with Kenobi's baby.
Yep, exactly.
That's what we're actually going to get the story of. Not Maul, but the Maul Kenobi
I actually have
child.
a question for you guys. I apparently I'm crazy in thinking this, but do you have any more feelings that that's Finnick? Like that the Sand People, like the leader of them?
No.
You're still in a hard no?
I'm still a hard no because they're not going to let him even lead them.
In fact, it's become an even harder no.
I don't know, man. Honestly, be insane.
You think it's
like she has the respect of the Sand People. She's like the only human that they've ever respected, and Boba's the second, and that's why like they're chill with Boba leading, and then like he like teams up with the Sand People. Dude, I'm like, I don't know if I'm writing this and like that is Finnick, that's just badass. But I'm like way more on the no side. Like I just want to believe it now. But like, it's like
I feel you, and that would be like that would be a really interesting twist. My issue with it is then we've got to do a whole thing explaining why Finnick's there because we've seen her in the Bad Batch far before this, nowhere near the Sand People.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but
why
is she? Why did she suddenly
Finnick's a badass?
You
don't know what she'd be doing, bro.
I don't know what she'd be doing. But what's a bounty hunter doing fighting with the Sand People?
Something happened to her where she got her insides blown. She got chopped in half or something. You know, like something happened to her where Boba saved her, and like, I don't know, Boba saved her.
We saw that
like in The Mandalorian.
Wait, him save her?
Yeah,
she
got
what
shot
happened.
in the stomach, and he.
Yeah, that was the something, Joseph.
Wait, we actually know what happened to her?
Yeah, she was shot in the stomach.
I guess I just forgot about.
Well, it's the most forgettable episode of The Mandalorian, the gunslinger with the fuckboy Toro Calican.
Yeah, remember she's like hunting them, and then they like capture her, and then
it really throws a whole wrench in the
whole theory.
The good old theory there.
Except the leader of the Sand People could either be Mace Windu, who has to be alive somewhere, or
that would be a Luke style moment. If in a flashback he takes his helmet off, it's fucking Mace Windu.
I'm sorry I killed your father.
Would be sick if Mace comes back.
I'm sorry I killed your father.
Or it could be a deformed clone of Emperor Palpatine.
No,
where I'm at right now.
If they did that, I would probably never watch another Star Wars movie.
Where I'm at right now,
be enough to push me out over the edge.
Boba is the only human near that tribe.
Yeah. Also, completely forgot about this until he brought up Mace Windu and sorry I killed your dad. I will not listen to this anti-Boba head propaganda, or Jango head propaganda. I refuse to listen to it. Jango's head is in the helmet. I do not care what they say. That was a mistake in filmmaking. That was not the actual plan. His head is still in the helmet. Young Boba Fett had to dig his father's head out of the helmet to claim it as his own.
Or it's a franchise meant for children, 100%. And they didn't want to put a head in the helmet that the kid picked up.
No, 100%. The head just had to be pulled out of the helmet.
Okay. Then if his head's not in there, then why?
It rolled out, bro. That helmet was rolling.
Does Boba picking it up have? Because at that point, you're just holding up a helmet. if you're gonna hold something up, you'd hold your father's
You
head
can't
up.
put up. No, you don't.
No, it's
I
definitely.
think you realized how outlandish that sounded as it left your mouth.
I
As it
knew
left
exactly how outlandish it was. I
No.
just decided that I had to continue to say it.
I'm with Miles because if you go back and watch Attack of the Clones, look when Boba picks up the helmet and looks at it. Look at the way he looks at it and then looks up. That's not sadness. That's disgust. He's disgusted at the disgusting neck that is just blood and guts. And
No, we already talked about this. There's no blood. It got cut off by a lightsaber. Cauterizes it immediately.
Okay, true.
Yeah.
Well, the stub
The stub. That's
of
yeah.
the neck that is in there. That's
The
disgust.
head
Watch his
fell
face.
out. I won't hear.
No,
hear
it didn't.
this.
I will not listen to this.
That
There's
helmet
the
bounced around
shadow.
a whole lot.
There's the shadow of the head flying away from the helmet. in
That
Attack of the
helmet
Clones.
bounced around and rolled
Fake
around a
news.
lot, dude. We don't know if the head is in there or not. We
All right,
know
Cole,
that
Just
it
look
was
up,
in there.
Miles. Just look up.
We're ready, Colton. We're ready.
Don't look up.
We're
Well,
sorry,
that's George.
Colton. Go
we
ahead.
have to ask George or Dave. It's the only answer.
It's the only
Listen, I will not take it from some Twitter user who sees a shadow.
That was the guy
beginning
who used to play young Boba
Wrong.
Fett.
Wrong. That's not him. I refuse to believe.
The guy who tweeted
Nope.
that was Boba Fett in the scene.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
Maybe we should trust Boba Fett.
I'm not Colton. I was like 99% sure that was someone significant to that movie, but I was just gonna say some random person on Twitter just in hopes that it wasn't.
It was actually straight up the kid who picked up.
It was
Brown.
Boba Fett.
Okay, but you know what? They listen. The shadow. All right. I don't want to hear it.
No, you
What
can
are
have
we?
your own
What are we doing
headcanon.
now?
You can have your own
We didn't
headcanon.
actually land on the moon because look at the shadows. That's what I'm getting out of that.
No,
That's why
feel
I
that.
say his head's
Everyone has their headcanon, you know. Like I think, I have plenty of headcanon moments in Star Wars that just like have not happened.
Really, it has a double meaning here. This
My
is literally
headcanon.
headcanon.
That's right.
All right, now that I've derailed us sufficiently, I'm happy.
Sufficiently enough. Let's do the scene by scene. We open on a shot of the rocky desert landscape around Jabba's palace, and camera zooms in on an armed Fennec Shan leading the captured assassin through the castle. And I was like, oh fuck yeah, I love this shit. We watched the door open, we watched the door close. I'm like, them Return of the Jedi vibes out the ass, bro. I love Return of the Jedi, so I just love Jabba's palace. And they walk through the gates into the throne room where Boba Fett's holding court without the helmet this time. Wants the people to see his face. You know?
Well, yeah.
I like that. And
I think
He's a man of the people.
They had also seen his face when they attacked him too.
right, yeah, like it.
Tomorrow for president?
I say so. But I mean, it'd be our first New Zealand Maori person to be president of the United
Is he
States of
even
America.
able to?
Nah,
Dang.
not technically in
Damn.
America.
We'll get him in there.
We'll get him in there. Fuck it, But Fett's like, so who sent you? And what were you supposed to do? And the two Gamorrean guards and the droid 8D8 stand in the background when the assassin refuses to speak. Fett's like, all right, cut his fucking head off. And before the Gamorrean can do such things, the person's like, Ichuta. And Fett's like, all right, so after you tried to kill me and failed, and I spare you, you're going to have the audacity to tell me to fuck off. Is that right?
In my house.
In my house. And
On his planet.
yeah, like this
Like-
is I run this bitch.
He didn't realize Bubba was wearing some Air Forces.
Right.
Some Air Force Ones.
Exactly. 8D8, he's like, oh, the prisoners from the
What
order.
a name for a
Sorry.
droid.
So
God, every time I hear that name for that droid, it's
Some
like,
Star Force Ones, sorry.
But the droid 88 says that there's no way the prisoner will be talking. He's a member of the Order of the Nightwind, They're assassin for hire. And Fennec's like, that's just brand awareness, bro. You don't need that shit. That's just you paying for a name. They're just people.
Fennec, this entire scene is just
Fennec
fucking
every time
amazing.
ever.
She's so. I mean, every time ever, but specifically this scene, just because she just spends the entire time shitting on this group of assassins. She's like, you're just paying for the name. It's all brand with them. You're not getting any real sustenance. You're paying a premium.
Well, she did kick their ass, so she has the right to say so. Like,
oh yeah, she gets to fuck with them, you know. And 88's like, you know, they don't fear men. She's like, maybe he'll fear the Rancor. And then she drops him down, and the throne moves up, and I'm like, I was like, maybe they got another Rancor, you know, like
that's what I said. I said they on sale. It is Christmas. It was.
Well, I mean, like, I thought
Christmas.
back to the Bad Batch where we saw a different Rancor from the Rancor that we saw in Return of the Jedi. So like,
yeah.
I mean, there's Rancors around. You can corral a Rancor and
You can wrangle a Rancor.
I'm like, did y'all? You know, they got like a back like a dock or something. Because I was like, how'd they get that mug back in there if they got another one? Unless they grew a baby one back there. But I was like, all right, well, shoot.
Right. Nah, but like, all these thoughts are spinning through my head. This guy's starting to freak out. He's like, the music's building up. I was watching with Emily just a little bit ago, and she was like, "Is this scene about to give me nightmares?" And I was like, "Nah, it's not. Don't worry." And
said, "Yes, be terrified."
And you know, he's like, the mayor sent me," and he's like, "It's empty, bitch." Got him. I thought.
What would they have? Even if there was an actual rancor in there, Rancor, like, and he still said what he told him, the mayor, like the Rancor would still eat him. You know?
Right. Oh yeah.
Like, what could they have?
Well, they would have dropped it in there. That the real thing was in there, probably.
No, they could have kept the door from opening for the Rancor.
Yeah. I think it was just a bluff. By the way, they knew it wasn't down there.
No, but
I think that thing's hungry. It's probably coming out right away.
Yeah, if they had a live Rancor.
Well, if they had a Rancor, they probably handle this differently. You know.
No, they don't. They still throw them in there. They just maybe the door opens a little slower.
So what? So like Bib Fortuna just like didn't have one,
and I know it shuts. Oh no, we saw that shit slam on the Rancor in Return of the Jedi.
It do kind of slam.
It do be kind of slamming though.
So Bib Fortuna's just not about having a Rancor, or like.
Remember though, he really fucked with that Rancor in the Bad Batch. You know what I'm saying? So like, I thought for sure we were about to see a fucking another live action Rancor, and I was like, oh shit, here we go. And then we didn't, and I was like, that's cool too. I'm 100% with it because that was funny as fuck. And
yeah, but once Jabba died, I imagine business went downhill a little bit. Bib Fortuna is probably a little tight for cash. I imagine Rancor is pretty expensive. The Rancor is expensive to buy and expensive to upkeep. So he probably was like, you know what, we'll keep it there we'll keep the pit there for the name.
Right.
Rancor like a PS5, you're not gonna catch that thing on layaway. So you know it's kind of like they just had that thing not in there because like you can't afford to just get another.
You can't just
like Miles said, money's probably tight. Yeah. Bib Fortuna, he got fat. Like
he got real big. You know, he's spending his money on the fucking Mantel mix. He don't got time for no.
You can't just next day shipping a Rancor. That takes a bit.
You can't just hit up Amazon Prime. But you know, the only creature that is inside the Rancor's cage is actually a fucking rat. And in case you were wondering, yes, rats are everywhere.
Master Splinter.
Even on Tatooine.
That's insane. They got a wide reach.
They do. They be everywhere. I wonder if rat catchers run around somewhere on Tatooine.
Wait, okay. So, canon though, if rats exist, that means cats exist. And if cats exist, that means somewhere there's a dog.
I mean, we see variations of space dogs.
No, I mean like real dogs.
What a line to take. If mice are canon, then somewhere there's a dog.
I mean, there has to be. Sense. Like, duh. Like there
has to be. There has to be like a
galaxy.
Exactly.
It's first grade math, dude. Come on. If mice, then cat, then dog. Duh. It is.
Listen.
Rat plus cat
cats
equals
hunt
dog.
Mice. Cats hunt mice. Dogs hate cats. Does dog exist?
You know what? the Star Wars universe is pretty wide, so I bet there is a dog out there somewhere.
There's a dog
More
somewhere.
importantly, I wonder what do you think the name for rats are? Do you think they call them rats or some stupid like they call jazz jizz? Do you think they call them like
Ritz?
Ritz.
Yeah, Ritz crackers. But Fennec's like, let's go check out the mayor. Let's talk to him. Let's see what this is about. And Fett and Fennec go ahead and lead the captured assassin through the streets of Mos Espa, and they are noticed by several Trandoshans, which I like that they're just kind of like sprinkling the little I think the Trandoshans are definitely going to come back up due to the whole weird greeting at the beginning of the first episode, and now the like clear eyes on Fett from the Trandoshans.
They just always look like they're up to something, you know.
I mean,
they're
they
up to
hiss.
something, man.
They always
like they're literal snakes, bro.
Dead ass.
So.
And they walk right inside the town hall where Fett is met by what is clearly a Western-inspired clerk. Looks like from the days of the fucking Pony Express. And he's like, yo, I'm here to see the mayor. He's like, do you have an appointment? And I was like, fuck this guy. I saw that coming from a mile away. And Fett's like, yeah, I found one of his stray pets. I'm here to return it. And the receptionist is like, you'll have to wait. And then, you know, the major domo walks over. He's like, I am so sorry. I did not see your litter arrive.
This guy.
This fucking guy. The major domo. He's like, you know, the mayor won't be around for the rest of the week. You're more than welcome to wait in the mayor's throne room. Fett forces his way into the throne room. And I really loved this. And we meet Mok Shaiz, who is the Ithorian character who we saw from the trailer. I was like, I love this species. And I don't think we've seen it live action, you know, modernly. So seeing it brought to life and him having the fucking translator right up next to his mouth.
Translate right there, ready to go.
Right. And
which I thought was lit. I like that because I
fuck with it.
I didn't have to watch him talk and then watch a robot next to him say, "The great mayor says."
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I feel you. And Major Domo's like, so Mr. Mock, this is the new daimyo, Boba Fett. And in case you were curious, I looked into what daimyo actually meant this last week, and it's like a feudal lord for the shogun.
Japanese.
Yeah, for in Japanese culture during the feudal Japanese era. But Fett demands to know why the mayor sent assassins to kill him, and Shaiz explains that the assassin is of the Order of the Nightwind. And Fett's like, okay, so you know who this motherfucker is, but you don't know who I am. Why the fuck you sending him to kill me? And Shaiz says that the Order of the Nightwind are not allowed to operate outside of Hutt space, and he shoots this motherfucker. And he thanks Fett for turning him in. He's like, go ahead and pay this man. He's a bounty hunter. And he's like, nah, not anymore, bro. No, not anymore. I have heard otherwise. And Shaiz remarks that Fett sits on the throne of his former employer, prompting Fett to be like, nah, no, Bib Fortuna wasn't my employer. He's like, nah, I was talking about Jabba, and you fucking knew it. And Fett's like, yeah, I'll take this payment as your tribute, all right? And he adds that the mayor should remember that he serves as long as the daimyo of Tatooine decides. And Shaiz asks Fett to consider who really sent the Nightwind assassins. I have no motive, he says. And Shaiz tells Fett that he serves at his pleasure. He's like, all right, I'm not no fucking fool, so cross me again, you're going to fucking die. I'm going to tell you that. And Shaiz is like, let me give you a piece of advice, all right? Running a family, much more complicated than bounty hunting, all right? You ain't going to be able to do this shit easy like you might think it will be. And Shaiz tells him to go to Garsa Fwip's sanctuary to get an idea of what he means by that. And this is where the first piece of my theory begins. I think Mok Shaiz has probably been the mayor of Mos Espa for a minute and was probably the mayor under Jabba the Hutt and probably has a degree of loyalty to the Hutts as a whole. while he may not have directly hired the Order of the Nightwind Assassin, the Order of the Nightwind Assassin was probably told by the Hutts, tell him the mayor sent you. You know? Like, that would just make sense to me. So I think there's kind of a conspiracy against Boba on the whole amongst the people of amongst the crime people of Tatooine. You know, the mayors, the other crime syndicates, and I think Garsa Fwip is somehow connected loosely. She's still super sketchy, and I don't really trust her all the way yet. Super hot, but
yeah, I definitely see the Hutts being the ones to actually send them. Like, would a mayor really send those assassins? You know, like, nah. Yeah,
I think that's like, and then he expressly says they're not allowed to operate outside of Hutt space. Like, he kills him, showing his loyalty to the Hutts, and being like, you know, like, I didn't hire this motherfucker. Ask yourself, what's my motive? You know, like, I don't have one. Think about who might. And I think if the Hutts, like, they had Bib Fortuna there, who was Jabba's major domo and was clearly loyal to the Hutts also. So when someone comes in and usurps the throne, it's not like passed on to them. It's just takes it. The Hutts aren't going to be happy, and it's gonna turn out to be a little crime war on Tatooine. But
I can't wait.
Oh, I'm so hyped. But Fett and his whole crew show up to Garsa's, and it's full of droids and patrons. You see the Max Rebo band going fucking crazy again. I loved this music they were playing, and takes off his helmet to meet with Garsa, who offers him a table. She's like, sorry about this. I didn't know you were coming, but I would have had shit prepared for you. It's like, the mayor told me that I had some shit to figure out here. So you want to tell me some shit? And Garsa looks nervous as fuck the whole time. She looks worried. She looks like she's up to some shit. And Fett's like, you are sweating like a Gumta on Mustafar. Boba Fett is the king of similes. This man throws out all the similes. I think back to The Mandalorian, and I remember him throwing out random shit like a bantha on a blah. You know, like he just be making comparisons, and I fucking love that shit. Like a Gumta on Mustafar, and obviously a mention of Mustafar anytime is just kind of like, we know what happened there.
We do know what happened there.
I hate you.
Don't try it.
Don't try it.
I really love it whenever they make similes like this too, where we know what one thing is. We know what Mustafar is.
I don't know what the fuck a Gumta is.
Yeah, like, I get everything's gonna sweat on Mustafar, but what the fuck is a Gumta?
I don't know, but I fucking love it.
Could be a dishwasher. We don't know.
Yeah, it could just be like some sort of like fucking thing that condensates. Like, it's not like a person sweating or a creature
you're
sweating.
You're sweating like an ice cube on Mustafar.
Just melting.
What?
But Garza explains that the twins have laid claim to their late cousin Jabba's bequest. And Fett's like, the twins are pretty preoccupied with fucking on Nal Hutta, so they'll stay away from Tatooine. And it's like, boom, 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 boom. Drums start rolling in. I'm like, oh shit, the cantina stops.
What the fuck took them so long? Like, it's been like a bit since Jabba died.
Like Colton said, I think is the fact that Bib Fortuna was probably still loyal to them. So it's kind of like, we'll let you rule because you will answer to us either way. But like, right. Boba's like,
yeah, but it kind of didn't seem like he was even answering to them.
Well, I think it was more of a thing. Like, I mean, like, we saw him for like 2 seconds. Can we really say whether or not he was answering to the?
Yeah, although I guess they did kind of answer it in itself. If they're like, they've been busy fucking in, you know,
the debauchery of Nal Hutta,
dealing with stuff on Nal Hutta, and so they've been busy with that. And he's like, they're not coming here. They're not going to concern themselves with Tatooine.
Yeah. And then the Cantino just stops, and you know, you see Boba and Fennec and the Gamorreans walk outside as you see a couple of huts. And I was like, oh, shit. First time we're seeing huts that aren't Jabba in live action, right? I'm not mistaken there.
I think so, yeah.
That actually look decent, too.
Yeah.
You know,
we're not seeing special edition Jabba in episode 4 or Phantom Menace Jabba. We're seeing these look good. And I was like, oh, fuck. You know, like, as soon as they brought this up, I didn't even consider the Hutt clan getting involved. And I was like, fucking duh. Of course it's the fucking Hutts. Like, that it just made all the sense in the world to me. And
can I just say, seeing them on their litter here, if there's ever a point in my life where I'm like worth like, if I ever reach the point of being a billionaire, at least one day in my life, I am going to pay people to carry me around on a fucking litter all day. Playing
gotta
music.
Get that drummer. Yeah, gotta get that drummer out front.
No, like I'm going full Hutt mode. I'm gonna, be sitting there just taking like I'm gonna pull an animal out of a basket, wipe my sweat off with it, and then throw it away.
These dudes carrying the litter deserve some fucking credit. There's like 6,000 pounds on that fucking litter.
Maybe 14,000.
I was gonna say it's more than that, and I also really love the fact that it like shows them. It doesn't just show them like they're fine. It shows it bowed, and then it also shows them like struggling at one point.
Yeah, like they are not having an easy time carrying this fucking litter, and I just
Jabba the Hutt weighs 3,000 pounds.
I mean, you're carrying it for your life, though, so think about it. You want to die, or you want to sit there and struggle a little bit?
I mean, fuck, I'd probably rather die than do that.
Jeez, 3,000 pounds. That's you said 6,000?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
that's insane, Colton.
God,
that's
nice.
insane.
God, I'm nice. But the Hutt brother tells Fett that they have business to discuss.
I love the Hutt language.
Oh, dude, the Hutt language, Huttese is fucking fantastic.
Yeah,
and
this is something that I love about that I've loved so far in the 2 episodes, and they do it elsewhere, but I've really noticed it in this, where like they'll have side conversations in other languages, and they won't translate it to be like, we're going to give you the point of view of everyone else sitting here. Because they don't have a clue what they're fucking saying, so you don't have a clue what they're saying. You're only going to get translation whenever it's something that Boba Fett would understand.
No, and I really do love that because it just kind of shows that Boba Fett always has to kind of be on alert. You know, as the crime lord that he is, like he's got to if he can't understand something, he's got to be wary of it. You know what I'm saying? Like he's got to be like ready for anything. And Boba's like, I mean, this is my territory now, not yours. And one of the drummers presents a tablet stating the Hutt's claim to Tatooine. Fett's like, no, that's not true. I'm the daimyo. And the Hutts are like, is this so? And then we see one of the most badass character designs we've ever fucking seen as their enforcer makes his way around the litter. One Black Chrysanthemum is the character name. An armored black Wookiee.
Whoa.
The heavy blaster. And I was like, oh, fuck yes. Whenever that happens, whenever Boba and him fight, because that's happening now.
You could tell by the way they looked at each other. They wanted to rip each other's throat out then and there.
Like right then and there.
You might have to pay for that episode. That might be a pay-per-view. Like
I'd fucking pay-per-view that. You kidding me? I'd pay-per-view that in a heartbeat before pay-per-viewing, some like boxing match.
Dude, I fucking loved it. But and this is like an interesting character because it's one that hasn't been adapted, I don't think, on screen at all, but was in like comic books with Dr. Aphra and was around through kind of all of it, but wasn't, a character yet. But yeah, he kind of pops up in comic books, which I think I love whenever they finally bring comic books into the real canon, which is always really fun. But
when we got Dave Filoni and Favreau at the helm. That's going to happen.
They're on it.
Mm-hmm.
But Boba's like, I'm not fucking scared of this guy. I'm not. This ain't the fucking death pits of Dur, and I'm not no sleeping Trandoshan guard. And I was like, there it is again. This man is fucking nice with the metaphors. He just keeps going. These are not the death pits of Dur, and I am not a sleeping Trandoshan guard. Like, what?
Damn. Boy's vocabulary.
It's once again the fucking like comparisons that we're just like, what the fuck are you talking about?
What the fuck are the death pits of Dur?
And what the fuck is a sleeping Trandoshan guard?
I'm assuming it's a Trandoshan guard.
Thank you.
Who has slept.
Thank you.
Fett's like, Mos Espa is my territory, bro. Go back to Nal Hutta. And the Hutt sister speaks to her brother, and she's waving that tiny fucking fan that isn't doing a goddamn thing to her. Her brother replies, you've upset my sister. She's far more patient. I'm far more patient than her. She wants to kill you. And then the Wookiee arms up. Fennec cocks her blaster like, all right, so this is about to go down, and I'm ready. And Boba's like, Jabba's gone, and Bib Fortuna usurped his territory. I killed him, so this shit is mine. That's how this shit works. That's the line of work we're in. And all that belonged to them belongs to me now. And, Boba's like, and if you want it, kill my ass for it. And I was like, okay, Boba, I fuck with this.
He's about it.
He is about it. And the two Hutt siblings speak a little bit more, and the Hutt brother says, bloodshed is bad for business. This matter can be dealt with later. Sleep lightly. Bye. The drummers continue to drum, and they just kind of like back up with the fucking Hutts on them. They're like, shit, we don't have room to turn around. Fuck. Okay. And I just loved it because the Wookiee growls at Boba and walks away. I'm like, oh god, I can't wait for that. That shit's gonna be incredible. And Fennec tells Boba, they are Hutts, so if you want to kill them, we have to get permission. And I was like, yes, that was the most organized crime shit so far. You want to kill the Hutts? You gotta get permission from the boss. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta go higher than the Hutts. You gotta go around to everybody. Which I was just like, oh damn. And God, when the organized crime shit ramps up, I'm just fucking ready for it. And Boba's like, oh, maybe it's over. Maybe this shit is settled. It's done. And Fennec's like, you really think that? He's like, fuck no. Nah, that can't be. But right after that, we go back to Boba sleeping in his bacta tank, and he experiences a flashback from his time with the Tusken Raiders, where he learns how to wield a gaffy stick from a Tusken, and the older Tusken teaches him to hold the stick properly before parrying, and knocks the staff out of his hands, and she's like, all right, pick the shit up. Let's do it again. And he's like, all right, yeah, teach me. And it went when that shit happened, I was like, there's a line in the first episode that is like kind of like a little bit of a theme that I think will persist through this. If you just accept their ways, all this will go a little easier. And it's like Fennec said that to Boba, like he's got this shit down. He knows what he's doing. I don't think he has any intent on accepting anyone else's culture. I think as this war with the Hutts ramps up, he's gonna need help. And he's gonna be able to go to the Tusken Raiders and have them be his muscle. And I think ultimately what this builds towards, what this culminates towards, as Boba being this ruler on Tatooine, I think we say bye-bye to slavery on Tatooine. I think that's the end game for this series. I think Boba ends the shit.
Sand power.
Yeah. Like, I think
he's gonna liberate Tatooine,
he's gonna liberate
dude. That
Tatooine.
is sick.
Yeah, like, and
then he's going straight to Mandalore.
maybe. Like, I think that's definitely where we're headed. Is that he's gonna end up freeing the slaves of Tatooine with the Tuskens at his side, and kind of reclaim Tatooine for the Sand People. Like, they will be a part of the rule, be re-immersed into the world they've built. But
I'll say something since Kyler's not here. I think Kyler would be okay with this, as long as they don't allow Jawas to be reintegrated into society.
Right.
As long as they're kept separate, he's okay.
I don't. The Jawa slander is curious to me. I truly
Jawas
don't
are just one of those
understand
things for me where I'm like, God, they were like right there at the beginning of the shit. I love the Jawas. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
See, it's the same as that one fucking droid. His hatred fuels my love.
Toto. Fuck Toto. But
fucking Toto.
Fuck Toto. But the two Boba and the Tusken are practicing in a massive find some prey in the desert, and it scurries away, and one of the Tuskens grabs one of their blasters and blasts that bitch, and they all go and celebrate around their kill, their new food. And I like Boba just kind of like watching on, like, yeah, all right, I kind of fuck with this. I like this society. This is fun. And but shortly after, the Tuskens take up position as an armored hover train approaches, and I was like, I love this. Some new technology on Tatooine we haven't seen before. And blaster bolts from that fucking train start taking out everybody, and it's a real problem. We see a bunch of Tuskens fall, and I loved watching Boba like protect the Tuskens, like I grab a couple of them and be like, all right, come on, like we got to get down. And I also liked that afterwards he was a part of the funeral proceedings. Like he knows Tusken society. He knows the culture. Like now that I'm assuming in it for 5 years, because when we see him pick up Fennec Shand, he's in the outfit he's wearing at the end of this episode, and they're on Tatooine. So like he's here for 5 years.
Damn.
Which I mean, like, unless they're like, yeah, he went off world for a little bit and then came back to hang out with the Tuskens some more. Like, I don't know, but
yeah, I imagine he stays there for
pretty much the whole time.
Well, because I mean, there's also, it kind of seems like this, where we're at right now. It doesn't seem like the Tusken Raiders are free yet and are fully where I imagine he wants them to be. So it's probably like a multi-year thing that he spends all of his time trying to,
right,
take down the great mean trains that go across the
Great Sea.
Yeah, the Great Dune Sea. That's what it is.
How do we know he's been with them for 5 years?
What's that?
How did you know that he had been with them for 5 years?
Well, the idea is that The Mandalorian takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi, and assuming that he pops out of...
He wasn't in the
Sarlacc
pit for
pretty
too
soon
long.
after. When he shows up, well, what we now know is him showing up, but it wasn't made clear to us in that little post-credit scene in, like, I think it was like episode 5 of The Mandalorian, called The Gunslinger, where we see Fennec Shand's dead body laying on the ground, and we hear the Spurs walk towards her. He's wearing the black ensemble. So I think, like, it's safe to say he's probably been here doing roughly the same thing for a few years. Which I'm just, and the fact that that's the case, I'm even more excited to keep getting these flashbacks, because this is far and away my favorite side of the story. And
damn, it's just going to be like 2 stories paralleling It's like him liberating the Sand People and him liberating Tatooine. Like, it just happened at the same time. That's pretty sick.
Which I was going to say, I didn't mind the amount of time that they put into us seeing the backstory. Because at first, initially I thought it was going to be like the last episode where it's like, okay, flashback, and then we go back to present time. But when it didn't make that switch back to present time after about like 10 minutes, I was completely fine. Fine. Because
I think I almost liked it more this way. I liked that it was, one story then other story. I didn't, then there wasn't the like jumping back and forth. It was all just like,
I think this is a much better format.
I know what we're getting right now. And then now, switching, I know what we're getting for the rest of the episode. And I loved it.
Like, I know.
Which, I think everybody has
Oh, go ahead.
I think everybody. Sorry. Yeah, I think everybody has a personal choice too. It's like my personal choice is the backstory of what happened and what has occurred up to this point is more satisfying and important for me because, there was a book that talked about what occurred, a non-canon book that talked about what occurred, him coming out of the Sarlacc stomach and what he did after that. And so then they canonized that. And so that's what this story is now. And I mean, it's not following the book exactly, but I mean,
but like still, they got the general outlines.
Yeah. So me seeing for the 35 minutes of the flashback and seeing what that was and what happened, what occurred, I was completely satisfied and excited to see it. Some people might be like, "Oh, I don't want to watch him take down this train with the sand people." I'm like,
it's like right now, the Tusken Raider side of the story is better than the organized crime side of the story, and I think there's something to be said that like I think we've only gotten like 25 minutes of the organized crime stuff and more like 40 minutes to 45 minutes of the Sand People stuff, and we've just gotten a lot more of that. But I've just really, really, really loved it so far, and
yeah, because this is plot. This is character development. When you're wondering why is he not this ruthless killer, Daimo, and when she was like, you have to show, Fennec was like, you need to show your power in the first episode. She was like, you need to like basically people are like, you need to use fear to bring people to their knees, like the Hutts did. That's
fear. I intend to with respect.
With respect, that's how you get them. Because you see with the Sand People, when he took down that monster in the first episode, he earned their respect, and that's when they started to treat him differently. And
goes on to earn their respect all the way later on in this episode.
And exactly. And so what we're seeing in these flashbacks is character development to see where he gets to that point where he is now and how he does things and how he does himself. So I mean, that's also exciting to see if you're really here for Star Wars and what it is, it's storyline, it's plot. It's not just the action and the violence,
Absolutely not. And I think what's like most important for me, speaking on that character development, is that like I said earlier, there are a lot of people disappointed that Boba Fett has a personality and he's not a ruthless killer anymore. And I think it's safe to say that it's probably his time with the Tuskens that gives him a little more personality. Like we've seen of him was being like a real angry little fucking kid. I mean, for good reason.
What? Nothing bad happened to him. What are you talking about?
And then we just see a real silent bounty hunter.
Unless the head is in the helmet, then it's acceptable.
And then we just see a real silent bounty hunter. And like, I mean, I don't know if we'll ever get content kind of filling the gap before that, but until
we've gotten bits and pieces from in animated stuff of him.
Oh yeah, I know. That's what I mean.
Little, like side bits of him. Yeah,
the Clone Wars specifically is what I was talking about, where we see him be an angry little fucking kid.
But we even see him as almost like like as he grows up into not like fully into adulthood, but we see some of it where he finally then decides to go off on his own and become Boba Fett.
Right.
Yeah, and exactly, Colton, when Miles is talking about what he's talking about, when we see him, and then Colton, when you're talking about when we see him as this ruthless killer, let's also notice that we're catching him while he's like on a mission during a war, working, he's working, he's in the middle of his bounty hunting. Like his job while he's working is to capture, to kill, to be a badass. Right. Like, we're seeing more of him now in other parts of his
bounty hunter life, and after that, he has a lot of opportunity to become a lot more of a singular person, and become to grow. And later that night, after the Tuskens have cremated their fallen, Fett sees a couple speeder bikes passing by their encampment, and they look a little familiar to him. And Fett speaks to the tribal elders, vowing to stop the train with a rifle and stick. He promises to be back by morning, and the chief's like, "All right, fine, okay."
That's a fair trade.
Yeah.
A prisoner, one rifle, and a stick.
Yeah, right.
All right.
And and we see him follow these I don't know, Neanderthals. He travels with them to Tashi Station, where Luke was going to pick up some power converters. I was going to go to Tashi Station to pick up some power converters. And among the patrons are a couple characters from that deleted scene on Tatooine where Luke Skywalker's wearing a poncho with a couple of patrons of Tashi Station, a couple of his friends. That's who these characters are, a little older. Like, that's a deep cut. That is a deep cut.
That's a fucking deep cut to a deleted scene. That's,
right.
About as deep as they get.
Yeah, like, I was like, holy shit, yeah. Carney, Marstrap, and Lays Lone Osner. Like, some random-ass motherfucking characters that they were, like, going to pull that all the way through. But one of these Nicktoons snatches the food from their table, and I was like, man, that kind of sucks. But at least, like, it was on the table, like, at least it could be a lot worse. And then he takes the drink straight out of the dude's hand. I'm like, that's the one. That's the one right there.
Yo, his wife was kind of bad, though. I'm just saying.
No, you're right. I
was like, for Star Wars, boy.
Star Wars?
I thought I was watching Real Housewives of Tatooine.
This dude, he was like, I'm going to grow some balls right quick. He says, this isn't right. And the Nick was like, wait, what'd you say? And he's like, this isn't right. And they grab him and beat the shit out of him.
I had mad respect for this dude whenever he like stood up to him, but then as soon as he goes, "This isn't right," I was like, "All right, nope, never mind. I hate you."
Yeah, and then one of these Nicktoons pulls out one of the stun baton, starts beating the shit out of him, and then lo and behold, Boba Fett enters the room. And another thing that is important about this group here, these are the dudes who ransacked the moisture farm in the first episode, who left the tag that you were like, does that mean anything? We see it on their speeders and stuff. It's these dudes. So when you see Boba absolutely lay waste to these guys, it's not just because he wants their speeders, and it's not just because they were kind of picking on this guy. It's because he watched them take everything from a family and I think leave one of them injured. So like he's executing some justice here, and he just absolutely levels like all of them. And
the silhouette too of him entering. Like on the wall. Oh,
dude,
that was
the way they all stop and they were like immediately like, okay, well, yeah, clearly this guy wants to fight. Like all the Nicktoons, like could have just ignored him, but like he walked in and they were like, okay, well, this guy needs all of our focus.
That's pretty impressive.
Oh, it's
pretty, that he can give off that much of a "I will fight you right now" vibe. Like that.
Well, I mean, like it could be he was carrying the blaster and stuff. Maybe that was kind of like the nod, like, yeah, y'all need to be ready. But
or I mean, it could have been a pride thing too. Like somebody walking in like that, like I'm the stuff. They could have just been like, oh, you like just like, oh, you think you're big. It's kind of like you come to prison. If you think you're the shit when you come to prison, the other guys are going to be like,
get in
okay,
there,
just let
you knock the shit out of the biggest motherfucker in there.
Exactly. Before you get any ideas. So Bubba walked in.
That's a terrible idea.
Like
Don't
that.
do that.
So they probably looked at him like, before you get any ideas thinking you about to do something, let's just set the record straight. And then he set their teeth straight.
He said, ooh, y'all thought. Bubba he walks right on out after beating the shit out of them, like very quickly, enters, destroys them, and is like, all right, guys, bye. And just walks right on out. Goes over to their speeders, and he's like, these are mine now, bitches. Fett leaves Tachi Station with those speeder bikes all in tow, and he returns to the Raiders camp where it initially looks like they might shoot him, which would have just been like hilarious if they were just like, "Oh shit!" But the chief realizes that it's Boba and is like, all right, stand down. And he's like, yo, I got a gift for you. And he does the special Tusken sign language stuff that he's slowly learning. You can tell. He tells them he's got a gift for them, and the Tuskens are like, oh, dope, we're going to break these shits. And Boba's like, what?
Instantly just start whacking them.
Bro, and the way, I love the like comic nature, the like of them like tossing parts, like literally over the shoulder, like, like you hear like the like you hear like a jackhammer. I could have swore you heard a cat meow somewhere in there. Like, but I just thought that shit was funny. And he's like, no, I got you. I'm gonna teach y'all how to ride these so we can stop the train. And we cut to Boba teaching these Tusken Raiders how to operate and accelerate and brake. And he's like a bantha. That was
similes, man.
Dude, that was that was my single favorite Boba scene of all time. This dude just being like, go, stop, go, stop, like a bantha. He does the little rocking thing in the chair. And he's smiling his ass off. I was like, dude, I fucking love this guy. And like, you can tell in the writing of this character, they are really, really letting like Tamara Morrison's own personality shine through, and like quite a bit on multiple occasions, which I absolutely love because Tamara Morrison is like one of the most lovable actors of all time. And you can tell they're also incorporating things that he brings to the table as the actor in the role, and not just not that probably otherwise might not have happened with another actor, which I just absolutely love, and I'll get more to that when the scene comes. But yeah, I love whenever one of the Tuskens hops right on and he's like, all right, yeah, I got this shit. And goes straight back. And they just like watch him fly away, which I thought was hilarious. But then, we see them kind of getting the hang of it. She's trying to teach one of them how to jump from one of them to the other. And I was like, that's a good skill. You'll probably need it, and they did. Someone needed to jump onto a speeder. So, sometimes you prepare, you prepare right.
Man knows what he's doing.
And the Tuskens slowly get better and better at the bikes and leaping from their vehicles. And I just love that, like, we were watching them learn how to ride a bike, the scene where one of them like pushes down one of the things and it starts wobbling all weird, and he's like, fuck, and he pushes it back up, like, just showing the process, man. You gotta learn the controls, see what all of it does, so you know what not to do. And I just absolutely love that. And we also parallel this with Boba continuing to practice with the Gaffi stick, and he learns how to knock the weapon out of his opponent's hand. However, this woman is the most badass sand person of all time, rolls right over and catches that shit, and it's just like, she did color guard in high school or something like that. Like,
that was sick. Yeah, that was like, I don't know. Like, in my head, I was still thinking this could be Finnick, possibly. So I'm like, damn, that was a sick move, Finnick.
Good job,
but now
Finnick.
I'm just like, damn, I really just forgot about a whole storyline in The Mandalorian.
I was like, dang.
Maybe I should give that show a rewatch.
Hey, maybe you give it a rewatch and listen along with the Mandalorian rewatch, available on the Penny Bloom podcast.
I feel like she 100%, she was teaching him, like, here's how you disarm me, and the whole time thinking, she was like, one of these times he's going to disarm me, and I'm going to catch him so fucking off guard. He's going to be just completely fucking bamboozled. He's going to think, I got this bitch, and I'm going to roll over, catch it, and just hit him right in the forehead.
Bro, the way that she took out his fucking ankles, that shit was like a razor scooter. Like, I know that hurt.
Oh, man, yeah, that stick, like, that's gotta hurt. Like,
bad.
In the making of it, I guess we'll get to that, but like, whenever they make it, like, that was so cool.
I'm ready
like,
to get to that. But we're on to taking out the hover train. That's the next little step here.
Fucking love it. It's so impractical. the idea of I forgot to say something earlier about it, but a fucking hover train to carry cargo across the fucking planet. They literally have spaceships. They have fucking.
Maybe the fuel's really expensive, you know. Maybe it's
maybe
it's more cost effective to.
It just looks so incredibly impractical. But I love the idea of a
right.
fucking train zooming across the fucking.
I didn't even consider that.
Across the desert.
Not like.
It's so stupid that it's one of those things that like I say it all the time where it's like if this was less stupid, I would hate it. I would just be completely opposed to it. But it's so stupid that it's crossed over the point of no return where I love it and
it's good.
And now it's so dumb it's good.
But they see the fucking hover train approaching and they're like I loved Boba, riders to your bikes. Like he's commanding them as like a leader of men. I was like, oh fuck yeah. And the Tuskens all grab their weapons and jump on the bikes, and others take up position in the desert. And as the Tuskens in the trenches exchange some fire with the Pikes, who we've seen in the Clone Wars, and I can't remember if we see them in the Rebels, but I know we saw them in the Clone Wars. And
is this the first time we've seen them in live action?
It is, and I'll get more to it when we really see their faces. I expected a lot more out of the Pikes in live action. I'm not going to cap.
Kind of gross.
Yeah. But Fett and other Tuskens riding on their speeder bikes pursue the train, and a Tusken signals to the other Tuskens lying in the hills. You know, has the little mirror thing, which I loved. Boba doing the sign language to tell him like it shows he's learned the Tusken sign language. Like, hey, we need your help doing this thing to a little Tusken kid. I was like, oh, that's just cute. But you know,
if we don't get a point in this show where we get Boba screeching at them the way that they do at each other, I'll be disappointed. That is one of my favorite things about the show is him speaking to them and them just looking at him and just screeching.
Is there a point in The Mandalorian where Din actually like attempts the Tusken language?
I don't think so. It was.
I don't know, but that's maybe.
Did he do? He did nothing but the Tusken sign language. Okay, I wasn't sure.
I don't know, but I'd be so happy if. I mean, Din also wasn't around him for as long, but you know, we're getting Boba around them for a while.
You know, he could,
and so maybe at some point he's gonna learn, you know, how to create the perfect inflection to screech.
You know what I have not considered, and just occurred to me. Where is his ship?
You mean this?
Yeah, where's Slave One?
He'll not Slave One anymore.
According to a Lego Star Wars package, it was for toys. Oh. That was all.
Yeah. Oh, so it is still Slave One?
Yeah,
it might be.
Interesting.
People blew that way out of proportion. It was for the boxing on a toy.
Soft people, so soft.
Yeah,
I can't. Like I have the right. Look at me. I'm black, and I just have no problem with it. And it's like there was nothing wrong with the name of that ship. It's a ship.
That's what we're talking about. I don't think it's been renamed. It was for a toy.
Yeah, but I'm saying for a toy. These kids need to be educated.
Well, but it also might not have been like. I don't think they were renaming it for a toy. I think they just didn't include the name. But regardless, I don't
include
know.
The name.
Yeah, where is it though?
Like you know how in a it might be like in a Force Awakens how like his ship was just kind of underneath like a big ass tarp in like a ship lot where it was just kind of forgotten. It very well could just be that someone found it at some point and was like, well, fuck, I'll scrap some parts from it and I'll leave it in this lot, and who knows, maybe someone will come take it at some point.
I just hadn't even considered the fact that like he knows where his ship is. Like, at least he should, in theory. And he's talked about getting to Anchorhead a couple of times, so maybe that's where it's at. Like, maybe he's got it parked in one of their landing zones. But like, that just occurred to me out of nowhere. Like, oh damn, this dude has a whole ass ship.
Maybe someone stole it,
and he's got to get it back. And like, he finds out that someone stole it, He thinks he knows where it's at. He goes to find it. It's gone.
Like, I guess, I mean, like,
I
he
feel
would
like
have
it's
just parked it like normal because he definitely didn't think he was going to be eaten by a Sarlacc.
No, yeah,
Exactly.
he didn't plan on
So,
dying
yeah,
that day.
But I feel like if someone like leaves their shit behind, it's kind of like if you leave your car somewhere for long enough, it'll just get towed to a junkyard.
But people know that that's Boba Fett's ship, though, and
Do
like
they,
Boba
though?
Fett just died. I mean, like, that's Boba Fett. That's like,
I don't know how.
Yeah, but
I don't think so.
Bounty hunters are famous,
don't
but
think-
are they famous in certain circles?
I
Like,
think
yeah, that's what I'm saying though.
that's
Because
kinda
like
fair.
Han
Yeah.
Solo's ship was in a junkyard on
That's true.
whatever fucking planet Ray's from. Like,
Yeah, no one ever recognized
Yeah.
the Millennium Falcon ever. They just said it was a piece of junk. So, true.
yeah, I feel like it's probably just sitting in some fucking junkyard on Tatooine,
yeah, maybe
chilling there waiting for Papa Boba to return.
Papa
it
Boba.
could be at the back.
You know, like the Hutts
back of
maybe
the-
have
yeah.
like the Hutts would know that that's Boba's ship, though.
Right.
The
that's
Huts could
true.
have it. The Huts could. They could. The Huts
They could. He
taken
could have to
it.
get it back from the Huts. That'd be pretty dope. But you know, the Tuskens run up on the train on their bikes, and all of them manage to board. But you know, they face some resistance, and some of them are murdered. And
Rest in peace.
rest in peace. But Boba
Pieces.
rescues one. He catches one, which was awesome. The way he slowed down and caught him, and then uses the grappling hook to latch onto the train and jumps right over. Speeder explodes. He throws a pike from his this sequence was like awesome and like full of action and Indiana Jones vibes again out the ass, just because any moving action sequence on a high speed vehicle is just always going to remind me of Indiana Jones. And but they run across the top of this train, jump across carriages, and fight several of the pikes. And as they approach the train engine, the pike guards take up position and fire on them. And a Tusken rams her bike into one of the carriages. And I was like, oh fuck yeah! As soon as she pulled up, alongside, and I was like, all right, here's my thing. We started with 3 speeders, and now we got like 6 speeders. I'm just a little confused. That's all.
It was more than 3, wasn't it?
It was 4.
I was gonna say it was.
It might have started as 4. It didn't end up as 4.
Oh no.
Well, okay, they stole some more.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with. But like, I just thought that was funny. Like, whenever she
some on the
started,
train.
well, because like there were. Not only did he only bring back 4 speeders,
Yeah, he only brought back 4.
the next time they show them, there are 5 speeders going towards the train.
Yeah,
One of them gets shot out, and then this chick shows up later.
yeah.
So like, I just thought that was funny. And I don't obviously have any actual beef with that.
Yeah.
I just thought that was a funny.
Yeah,
little
no,
thing.
that's one of those
Episode
things where it's
ruined.
like-
Series ruined. I can't even watch this anymore. Oh, can't even get that right. Gee.
First, you're telling me that Boba Fett's not a heartless killing machine, and now you're gonna randomly add in speeders. Unacceptable.
Did you see all the people freaking out about how the fucking shot that they show of young Boba holding Jango's helmet doesn't have the fucking giant dinosaur puppet in the background?
Oh yeah,
It's like, yo, fuck yourself.
I did.
players.
I did because of the fact that you liked so much. You liked so many things about it.
People
It's my
people,
favorite
like,
thing.
People making fun of those people were my favorites.
Yeah.
The last couple
Yeah.
days. But
Yeah, series ruined though. End it all. I'm never watching another Star Wars.
That's all right. You know,
I'm never
it was good
watching
while it
another
lasted.
Disney thing in my entire
yeah,
life.
frankly,
Good while it lasted. I
Marvel
thought I trusted
ruined.
Dave Filoni. I really don't.
I don't. Well, and that's what's funny is that like Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, those were the Dude Bros guys. They were like, oh hell yeah, we love these dudes. They have it figured out. It didn't take long.
We love these dude bros.
It didn't take long. Book of Boba came out and they were like, never mind, bye.
Yeah, the most insignificant thing. Like, I would get it if it was like some like you just completely changed the way that this character was.
Yeah.
You know, this like if they brought on Luke and he was completely different. Cool.
Jango Fett was a Jedi. Wait, what?
Yeah, they didn't include the dinosaur puppet in the background. Unacceptable.
Yeah, that shit was hilarious to me. But she rams her bike into one of the carriages, and I was kind of like, was that the plan? I don't think anybody really expected that. on her
Well,
side.
that to me seemed like one of those where it was like they had a plan. She was kind of off on her own. Like, all right, I'll jump in where I'm needed.
Maybe that's why
And then
she's
she
late.
saw-
Maybe she was just boosting her own speeder. She was like, I gotta go find one. I'll be right back.
And then Boba's up there getting the shit beat out of him, and she's like, I see an opportunity.
Yeah. And what sucks though is that this is the thing that draws the attention of the fucking train conductor, who up to this point had no idea shit was happening.
Oh, love it.
And
honestly might be my new favorite character in all of Star Wars.
the driver
This
droid.
fucking this train conductor droid. Oh my god, what great fucking droid design.
What a
I love
narc.
it.
What
Oh,
a
fucking
narc.
fed.
This guy
Fucking
sucks.
fed.
Yeah, this guy sucks.
Oh no, it's the same thing as the fucking train.
This dude's
It's
bottom
so
two.
stupid. It's so stupid.
Toto.
No.
Train
I'm
conductor.
saying. Oh
No.
The train,
Toto, train conductor up here.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, the train is so stupid. Train conductor for a fucking space train that controls a bunch. Like I saw like some posts about it where they were like, all right, so what's our design for this space train? Let's take all of the the bells and the whistles and the levers and everything that you would find in a normal train, multiply it times 3, and then add some lights to it, and make it so no human could ever operate this, and only a droid could.
Only a droid.
And
can.
it's
we are
it's
making
not,
this.
it's
We are
now,
making this train overwhelmingly complicated for no reason.
Yeah, and it's now something that it's now a future train, and it's so stupid to have a little fucking train droid to pilot your train as it goes across the Great Dune Sea. It's so stupid, and I love it, every part of
I
it.
do too. I absolutely love it.
And especially later on, whenever he realizes like, all right, fuck this, kamikazes it, like does everything, and then fucking like spiders his way out the window. Yeah. Oh my god!
I was like, fuck yeah, this.
Just chef's
fantastic
kiss.
Droid.
Loved it.
Like as a droid, this is a fantastic droid. Fuck the droid though. The Tusken.
I get that. You love the droid design. You hate the droid itself.
He's a fucking asshole.
Why? Why was he loyal to them?
Yeah, it's like, I'm trying to save your life here too, bro.
He just drove straight, basically. That's all he did.
Boba Fett doesn't pay his bills.
Right.
Fuck that droid.
The Pikes pay his bills. And now, as I saw somewhere, he's out there plotting his fucking revenge.
Well,
he's coming for Boba
Here's my
Fett.
thing. Shouldn't you want to preserve your own train, man? You control this bit.
Nah, fuck that. No. It's kind of like Captain Sully on that one, Somali pirate things. He saw the
You're
pirate.
mixing a couple things here, I think.
Oh yeah, Captain Sully's the
the
plane.
Hudson.
Wrong.
Guy who landed the plane on the Hudson.
Yeah.
Both played
I'm
by
thinking
Tom
of,
Hanks, however.
It's the Tom Hanks that I'm mixing it up, but the Somali pirates captain.
Oh, you're talking about Woody.
Woody.
Yeah,
yes.
Woody.
But,
no, fuck that. Once you all of this cargo is lost to sea now, and if I can't have it, no one can have it.
I feel that. But this Tusken lady who rammed her speeder into the train, she manages to board the train and absolutely balls out. One of the most badass sequences we've seen, and we get the cool little. I love a fight sequence on a moving vehicle through the windows on a bus or a train. It reminded me of Shang-Chi, that sequence at the beginning of that movie. And she very quickly dispatches most of them, and realizing that the Tuskens are actually winning, the driver droid fires up the engines, causing a blast to knock off a couple of the Tuskens, and Boba continues to fight with more Pike guards near the train engine, and in the process, one of the Pikes is blasted by the engines and thrown to the ground, crushed to death by the carriages, which was hilarious.
See ya.
Fett forces his way up into the train engine, where he orders the driver to stop, and the droid's like, "Nah, I'm gonna jump right out of this bitch." And Boba's like,
abandon ship.
And Boba's like, well, fuck, man, I have no idea how to do this shit. But I'm a guess, based off the instructions I gave the Tuskens earlier, that if I pull this lever, this shit's gonna stop. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happens. He uses his gaffi stick to disable the engines, and it causes it to break. And the Tuscans are like, fuck yeah, baby. We hear the classic Tuscan celebration. Like, I just absolutely love that. And Boba's like, he stands there in fucking victory, watching them reap their spoils, and several Tuscan guards find the surviving captive pikes, and Boba's like, yo, so who's leading y'all? And the leader stands up and he removes his mask, and here I was like, are these really the pikes? That kind of sucks. Because if you remember the pikes in the Clone Wars, that was some of the most fire character design I've ever seen in my life.
Damn, that is disappointing now that you bring
and
that up.
I thought that their masks were their faces. I thought these dudes were pretty as fuck.
Yeah.
And then they took that shit off, and they were just some fish-looking motherfuckers. And I was like, you gotta be shitting me, man. You gotta be shitting me. Don't get me wrong.
Damn.
I'm all right with it, and shit happens, but I expect maybe like the higher you work up the chain of pikes, the more fire they start to look. But like, I don't know.
Yeah, because these were some bitches.
Yeah, I mean, like
they're on
the hover train on Tatooine, you know, like these aren't shit. Like, these are just like the foot soldiers for the Pike family, you know, like these are the Chrissy Moltisantis in season 1 with Brendan Filone. Sopranos reference for those out there. But you know, Fett's like, no, I'm not gonna, I don't think I'm gonna kill you. You know, depends on your answer here. You carrying spice? And Pike's like, oh, what the fuck that mean? And Fett's like, are you carrying Sensana spice from the slave mines of Kessel, sir? And that's a moment here where I'm like, he wants to free the slaves. Did you get this from the slave mines of Kessel?
The like, are you carrying spice? What? I'm sorry, officer. What is spice?
I'm sorry, sir.
What is
my
drugs?
eyes red as fuck,
I'm sorry.
smoke pouring out of the windows. I'm sorry, officer. I don't know what marijuana is.
I'm sorry, officer. What is this marijuana
First time I've ever
you're
heard
speaking
of this.
Is that green stuff? Is that green stuff that you use to cook with?
I think I was told of this in Dare, my Dare program, but I've recently forgotten about it.
It must have slipped my mind at some point, officer. I'm so sorry. I know not what you speak of.
The Pike here is like, what does spice look like? And just then, you know, 2 Tuscans drop a crate of spice and it pours out, and it looks exactly like the spice from Dune. It's called the same thing too.
Saying, man.
Well, I did see something about this that he did kind of like, because Dune was before Star Wars, and so he did get a lot of inspiration for like the design of Tatooine and other stuff from this.
100%. Like the Sarlacc pit itself, I think, is inspired by the giant fucking worm being on in Dune. But Fett's like, you know, this isn't looking good for you, bro. And the Pike leader says, you know, we assumed you guys were uncivilized raiders. We were just protecting our route. And Fett's like, you know, the Dune Sea is no longer free for the Pikes to pass. This is Tuscan territory and is their ancestral ground. If you would like to pass, a toll must be paid to them. You know, he warns that any death dealt by the traveling trains will be returned tenfold. Tenfold. You kill one of ours, we kill 10 of you. And
I think about it, I kind of wonder what kind of toll would you pay to the Tuscan Raiders? Like, what do they want?
This is
water.
Well, not just water. If they plan to rise up and reclaim their land, they need money.
Well, yeah, money and but weapons. I feel like would be like weapons and water. But I feel like, I mean, money outside of if they plan on like rising up and paying people off. But outside of that, I feel like, what are you gonna do? Give them some money, and they're just gonna be like, sweet metal.
Right, but if they want
Thanks, bro.
If they want to rise up and be a part of the revolution and take Tatooine back, they need to get more machines.
Shit, maybe that's how Boba's funding his activities as a crime lord. He's gonna be getting a cut from all the tolls that are paid to the Tusken Raiders.
Yeah, maybe so. But I just absolutely loved that Boba was like, straight up, these are the native people of this land. You can't take it from them. And I was like, fuck, yes. And, Tamara Morrison himself being a native person of the Maori tribe of New Zealand, like that's just really cool to see him be able to deliver lines like these that we haven't really seen in Star Wars otherwise. Like, The Mandalorian touches on it a little bit, that they're the natives and that anyone crossing on their land is the intruder. Like that's how they view it. But like we're getting an even deeper dive into how they operate. And I just absolutely love it. And Boba is like oh, go ahead, Joe.
Like we're getting like their culture now.
Yeah.
Like we were just told of them like in stories or like word of mouth, but now we're like actually getting the true like experiences of like the Sand People and like who they actually are,
right? Not
just the guns and the screeching,
exactly,
that we knew them for. So,
but yeah, along with the fact that they're not just savages.
No, yeah,
like watching A New Hope and watching Luke running from, trying to, avoid them, and Obi-Wan being like, oh, nasty critters. And then you're watching what they did to Anakin's mother in episode 2. I really have a soft spot for these Sand People now, and then also learning that there's different ones. There's warriors and there's ones that hide, and then it's just kind of, they're not, and then
who it's a lot like?
Not just savages.
The Mandalorians. Different tribes who have gone into their own places. Some of them are hiding, some of them are warriors. It's just showing a different side of the coin here, and I just really, really like that. But Boba orders the Pike leader, you'll return to the Pike Syndicate with these new terms, and
your lives,
and your lives are the gesture of our civility.
Charity. Just our civility.
Of our civility. And he tells the Pikes, walk in a single file line in the direction of the high sun, and you'll be in Anchorhead by sunset. All right? And the leader's like, but we'll die. We need water. Fett's like, you're traveling under the protection of the Tuskens. No harm will come of you. Fett's, and he also offers them black melons. We officially get the name of these things. The black melons, stating that they will survive on its milk, as these people do.
So I was right that these are just little fucking coconuts that just grow in the fucking sand. Yep. I hate it. They're not stupid enough. They're not stupid enough for me.
They need to be overwhelmingly stupid.
Yeah,
but
no, I am happy that we got the name for these though.
Maybe the deeper you go, the bigger they get.
Bigger the black melon.
That's like
if that was
medicine
the case,
ball.
That's the core of the planet. They actually have a water.
That's how
it's a giant fucking. It's a black melon.
That's insane. The core of the planet is just a mega melon.
That's where all the water went from the surface of the planet.
It all
absorbed to the core.
The nutrients of that milk, dude. Oh my god,
Joseph, if that
sip.
Was the
it's
case,
the fountain of youth.
If that was the case, that would be stupid enough for me to love.
You know what? It's still a possibility.
It's still on the table.
Who knows where this show can go?
Right.
We're
going straight to the core of Tatooine. Fuck going off planet. We're going deeper in.
The black melon, milky core of
Tatooine.
Tatooine.
Where no space show has gone before.
We're going
down.
Never mind.
We're going down.
I was gonna go real dirty with it, but later that night, Tusken Chief explains that since the oceans of Tatooine have dried up, They have
I think he means receded into the core.
exactly.
But acceptable.
They have stayed hidden. He says that other tribes have survived by killing, which I think is kind of the tribe we would have seen in Attack of the Clones, sort of just taking Shmi Skywalker captive and killing her for seemingly no reason. But Fett's like, well, you shouldn't have to hide. You are warriors. And the Tusken replies, the off-worlders, they have machines. And Boba's like, you have machines now too. And you know every grain of sand in the Dune Sea. And the Tusken's like, you know what? I really fuck with you for that. Here, let me give you a gift. That was a real sweet thing of you to say.
That's why your mom.
You keep a 92 plus 8 with me, man.
That was not do with now let me get you higher than you could ever believe.
Yeah, he said, Boba, you a really good guide. You've helped us a lot. Let this gift guide you. And he opens it and he's like, oh shit, a lizard. He's like, dude, I loved how excited he was just to get a lizard. He had no idea what the context was, and he was just like, oh, a lizard. Thank you.
I thought we were gonna have a fucking this lizard was
our
just gonna
baby
be his
Yoda.
fucking pet. Yes, he was just gonna be his little pet that he just rode around on his shoulder or something so stupid. I loved it, and then it crawled up into his nose, and I also loved it.
Oh, dope! This is a lizard. And then the Tusken leader's like, here, flicks that shit in his face.
Crossfaded him. They
he
crossfaded
said,
him.
Pocket
sand and spice, dude. Straight up,
lizard and spice and everything nice. You know what I'm saying? But lizard climbs right into Boba's nose, and he's like, "Shit, man, I'm sorry. I think I swallowed it. I really didn't mean to do that. He was really slippery. He was really sneaky. And I just love
so innocent,
the innocence of Boba Fett.
He was a stone cold killer. That's all we've known him as, and he's just like,
"Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, the lizard.
I'm so sorry.
Oh my god, I swallowed him." And he's like, "Yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know."
There are a couple things here at the
fun.
end where I'm like, Boba is just an innocent little flower that I want to protect. But
no, I think you guys have it all wrong. I think it was more of the kid on Christmas who there's a box that's shaped like it's an
avocado.
A PS5. And oh my gosh, it's a new coat from Burlington. Thanks, guys. I think it was more like that.
Oh, it probably was. But he eats that shit, and the chief's like, "No, that lizard's gonna guide from inside your head." And Boba's like, "Oh, okay." And I can't imagine a more horrifying group to be around at the beginning of a drug trip. The way they cut to these guys, it's clear they want you to be a little freaked out by what's happening. The two just standing there looking directly at the camera. I got
God, I'm not gonna lie. If I'm ever near someone that's tripping acid, I want nothing more than to be able to act like them. Just to be able to just stand still and stare at them until they start freaking out and just be like,
that is absolutely the worst thing you could possibly do to anybody. But
I would never do it, but it would just be so funny in my. Let's just.
What's insane is that he finds he just gets in, going through this trip. He finds a tree, breaks off a branch. That's his weapon.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the whole thing.
Where's this tree in Tatooine, bro? Where did he go?
The lizards guide you to the tree.
Where did he go?
The lizard guides you.
Yeah.
No questions.
The lizard guides.
I love it. So let's get into it a little bit more. We see his vision become blurry, and then his body starts to convulse, and he finds himself walking through the deserts of Tatooine, and he sees, and he's just kind of moving. We see him in his armor, and then back just as he is, and he sees a vision of the Dune Sea becoming an actual ocean, which I'm curious if this is there's some sort of these lizards are clearly a part of sand person culture going back centuries. So these lizards were there for the oceans too, is how I take it. So they can kind of visualize that for you in a weird way. But
or Boba's gonna terraform the planet, bring the oceans back.
there you go, baby. Boba's just like, we need Boba to solve the climate crisis. But
oh my god, no, he's gonna turn Tatooine into what world are the clones
Camino.
from? There, he's gonna turn Tatooine into Camino.
He just floods Tatooine. But
Eternal rain. Yeah, just eternal rain to make the oceans come back.
God, could you imagine how wild that like how much of a 180 that would be for like Star Wars if Tatooine just like became, instead of being the desert planet, it was just suddenly like, oh yeah, no, this is just a normal planet now. It just has 2 suns.
that'd be kind of wild. That would be kind of wild. But he sees a vision of the trees, and he walks towards it, and it starts hugging him. But we see a bunch of creatures with red eyes in the background.
Jawas. They were ready to mug him again.
So I do think this is like some sort of like, this is obviously a Tusken ritual. So are these like Tusken spirits coming to greet Boba here at his
like some Black Panther type stuff?
Reminded me exactly of that. Yes.
Ancestors.
No. It's Jawas. They're getting ready to mug him.
Yeah, you're probably right, Miles.
You think they use the same lizard?
Yes, definitely. You see him. Do you see the lizard hop back into?
Yeah, so it's the same. It's the same lizard. So they're all having like the same experience.
Everybody's snot is inside of his nose.
Damn, and that lizard knows all of the experiences that they had. So like, yeah, it's definitely like a Black Panther type
beat.
Yeah.
Like
It's that Mother Bast type shit.
Mm-hmm.
But Fett also continues to experience some flashbacks here of climbing out of the Sarlacc, as it feels the same as these tree branches here. And we see him as a child on Camino, where we see like a really, really pretty good revamping of Daniel Logan's young face in the reflection of as you see the Slave One fly away from Camino. And the vision ends with him snapping a branch and the ocean roaring in front of him. And the following day, Boba returns to Tusken camp, where he is greeted by the young Tusken, who he has befriended. And Boba goes to the Tusken chief and his followers, and the guy sticks out a little bowl, and the lizard hops right on out. And Boba's like, I thought he was part of the dream, bro. And
the fact that he made it all the way back to the camp and didn't feel a fucking lizard just chilling in his brain, I feel like you'd feel that, right?
That's how strong the drugs are, man. When you're on drugs, sometimes you don't feel a damn thing.
it's true.
Like fucking COVID tests, they go up like half an inch into my nose, and it feels like they're scraping the base of my brain.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
No way a lizard's up there.
Maybe it's comfy.
Maybe it is comfy. Maybe he's just like cozy up in her. But Boba's greeted by the Tusken chief, and the Tusken's like, show me your branch. And Boba presents the branch. And
He's like, yep.
Yeah, I got that shit. I have no idea where this came from.
I did it.
And I woke up. There wasn't even a tree anymore whenever I woke up. I woke up clutching mitt.
And the Tusken's like, follow me into the tent. And Boba's like, come on, man, I'm still coming down. I can't keep doing this shit. But, we see a pretty badass suit-up scene where he gets his black robes from the Tuskens, the scarves and the bandages and stuff, and no more sunburns for Boba, which, frankly, thank God.
Yeah,
Hold up.
His skin needed that.
Let's not skip this monumentous part. This is where my vote Boba for Jesus signifies and comes in. If you notice, Boba was thought have died right in the Sarlacc stomach, but he rose again on the third day. Not on the literal third day, but eventually he rose again out of the
You're
Sarlacc,
not the
right?
only one who gets these religious overtones here. Emily had the same exact thought.
And then he has come to save the Sand People, the enslaved people of Tatooine, and now he's roaming the world of Tatooine. He's roaming the earth. Quotations, spreading the word, changing things, ruling over things, and they are now dressing him and robing him in his robes, his naked body, born anew.
Yeah, he doesn't get carried on those whatever they're called. You know, he walks on his own 2 feet.
Tell him, Joseph. Or Jogurt.
He's a man of the people. He's a man of the people.
A man. And then he delivered them. He delivered them by destroying the train, and not to mention the water that came out of the train. Along with that, is he Jesus or is he Moses? You tell me, or is he both? I don't know.
I'm gonna tell you. As soon as Jesus was out here getting in fights with the Hutts, I mean, that shit was crazy. I mean, just look at history. But
Space Jesus.
But
okay, no, Space Jesus is reserved for one man and
Obi-Wan
one man alone.
Kenobi.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Fair.
I will not take this. I will not listen to this
Boba Fett
heresy.
is God, then.
Listen, count up how many Sand People there are. If you count 12, Boba is Jesus. He's Space Jesus. 12 disciples, 12 Sand People. Come on.
Don't tell me you counted the Sand People. You didn't count them.
I did count the Sand People. I did not.
Was that just a complete guess that you were like, yeah, 12?
I just said if there's 12, think
There were
about
definitely
it.
more than 12.
Here's my thing:
Like,
if there are 12 Sand People, like if he's walking up with that branch, and you see the Sand People in that shot, if there are 12 of them, I'm with you. I'm with you more,
guys. But like, I mean, also like sometimes there's 6 Sand People at the end of a battle. Sometimes, and then there's at 25 out of nowhere. I'm just like, you know.
Well, it seems like they've got a
from?
pretty large domain. Like they obviously have this like center of operations, but they expand a little bit beyond it by some extent. But anyway, Boba emerges from this tent, faces his Tusken friends with his new fucking drippy ass outfit, and the young Tuskens walk up beside him and they're like, "Come on, man!" And he's like, "Fuck, I am still coming down." And one of them takes his gaffi stick and takes his branch and starts forging it into a gaffi stick, and they help him. They teach him how to do it. It's his own experience, you know. It's not just them doing it for him. He has to do it too. And this was the other scene where I was like, oh, he just looks so innocent at points when he's like doing it. Like it just looks so, he like looks back at her like, yeah, okay.
Oh man, okay. This sequence was so cool. Like,
I mean, yes. Go ahead, Joseph.
No, that's all I was gonna say.
I was gonna say it was so cool because I mean, just like the robing thing. Like, guys, come on now. And did you think about how, you know, it's not that big of a similarity, but like we haven't seen a scene like this with somebody being clothed and transformed since Darth Vader and all of his legs being attached to his robes and his helmets. Even though it was slightly quicker, it was very much quicker. But they put the robes over him. They put the hood on him. He is Darth Sidious. I'm convinced. But anyway.
Now, I do think there was a cool parallel to the first episode in that scene, though, and his suit up in his Boba Fett armor compared to his suit up here in the Tusken robes. I think that was definitely the parallel. The last bit he puts on the helmet, the last bit he puts on the hood. I think that was definitely purposeful. But one of these, they go ahead and finish up this stick and they give it some armored plating and melt down some metal for it. And later that night, Fett presents his new gaffi stick, and they gather around a campfire and they do a traditional Tusken dance. And this is the other part where it's like they're taking the actor and applying some stuff he's done to the script here, and because like there's behind the scene footage of Tamara Morrison in the Boba Fett suit on the set of The Mandalorian doing a traditional Maori dance, which Robert Rodriguez absolutely fucking loved watching him do, and they just like hit it off on the set. So it made so much sense whenever we found out Robert Rodriguez was the showrunner here, and to see them perform this dance around the fire together as the Sand People, I was like this is This is one of my favorite. This is my second favorite ending of an episode. Like cut to black. Besides watching Luke, Grogu, and R2-D2, the door shut on them. This is second. Like I loved this shit.
It was so cool how like they slowly joined in. You know, like it was like everyone they were doing it, and then like everyone just knew it by heart. Like that dance, like everyone knew it. Like that's like the vibe you got is like they know it so by heart that they could jump in at any time and just like be synchronized. Right. And that I don't know that it was so.
Well, it's just
cool.
a really cool moment of like camaraderie and acceptance, and like you're one of us now. Like.
Unification.
Yeah, like we fuck with you on a level we have never fucked with a human before, which is huge for the Tusken Raiders. You know, like this is a whole other thing for them now.
You one of us now, Nick.
Yeah, and I absolutely fucking love it. And I can't wait to see where else we go beyond this episode, because if they can top this. I'm like it's gonna be hard to be like, yeah, the Mandalorian's as good as it. Like
the Luke moment.
Forget the Mandalorian.
My guess for the Luke moment is Mace Windu comes back, and it's like Boba and Mace face off.
Mace Windu is the leader of the Sand People. We already covered.
Here's my thing: if Boba and Mace if Mace is to come back. I think it'd be really cool to go. Mace has lost his mind. He's not all there. And he's struggling, and he's clearly not right. And Boba is done with his revenge tour and actually pities him and maybe helps him the way the Tuskens helped him.
Is anybody else? Am I the only one here who's actually on the train that Mace Windu is dead?
He's not dead. I think George confirmed it.
He's almost certainly dead, but
I think George confirmed that he was alive.
We don't want him to be dead.
We don't want him to be dead, but I'm on the train. He's dead.
I think George was asked directly, and he was like, "Did you ever see him die?" Like he didn't say yes, Mace Windu is alive, but he was like, "Did you ever see him die? Like, did you ever see him dead?" And
no body means no.
No body, no crime.
I mean,
Sidious, Maul, anyone that falls down a long fall and you don't see their body, they end up coming back.
Well, we didn't see anybody below the 35th floor of that building when he fell. You know,
Darth Sidious fell down a pit in the Death Star, and the whole Death Star blew up, and somehow that motherfucker lived. So you're telling me Mace Windu didn't just fall off a balcony and live? You think he died from that? No, bro.
He lost his hand.
Miles, you want to take that one, Miles, and explain the whole clone thing to Joseph?
Yes, but he still had to survive that to transfer his consciousness, right?
No,
I think he transferred it mid-fall, is the way they explained it.
Wait, are you being...
legit?
I think he just made a clone before that.
Yeah, he already had a clone. He transferred his consciousness before he hit the bottom.
Wait, mid-fall?
Yeah.
That's the actual explanation?
Yeah.
When you clone yourself...
That's why everyone kind of hates it.
Does your conscious just not transfer when you create a clone?
I think it was just like an empty sleeve.
No, yeah, he just kind of had like an empty shell, and then while he was falling, he was like,
we're just not getting into this.
Take me.
Disney is just stupid, and we're not. Disney is just stupid. It's a child's place. It's a child's playground, except for Marvel. They know what Marvel is goated.
I'd argue the Star Wars shows on the whole are better than the Marvel ones so far.
The Marvel shows, yes, because Kevin's calling.
I think, in all fairness, you're also.
I didn't say Marvel was better than Star Wars. I said Star Wars was better than Marvel.
Sorry, Dave. Dave is cold.
I think, in all fairness, part of the reason Star Wars shows are so good is because of the fact that everything else we've gotten from Star Wars has been, less than amazing.
I think the reason.
Meanwhile, everything that we've gotten
I think the reason the Star Wars shows are better than the Marvel shows is because they're actually about the characters that are in the shows, and they're not just feeding into whatever the next movie is.
That too.
True. And because
in part is because there is no next movie.
Dave Filoni's mind is unmatched. They should just give LucasArts to Dave Filoni. He's the new George Lucas.
I mean, he's pretty high up on the creative director team at this point. Like I think he is like the creative president of Lucasfilm at this point.
He definitely has to.
I think
right now
he's
Star Wars project.
Let's say fuck the team and make Dave Filoni just the chairman / creator / editor / producer / sex artist of Star Wars.
I think right now he's number 2, only behind.
I think there's a few. Kennedy. I think there's like a few spots between, but he's up there. You know, as far as the creative decisions go, he's about as high up as it goes. But
Colton, real quick, I made the case for Jesus. Now let me make the quick case for Moses, because Boba can be Jesus
case for Satan.
Boba is not Satan; he's far from it. But Moses carried a stick, right? Sent by God to do bidding, to free the slaves. Boba carries a stick, and if he follows what you said that he's going to do, he might do, if they go with the freeing the enslavement of people on Tatooine, Moses freed the slaves, Boba freed the slaves. Boba hit a rock, and water came out. What happened with the train car, the water car? Water came out of the car.
I think I'd be more on the Moses sort of parallel more than the Jesus one. But
and once again, he can't be Jesus. We already have Space Jesus.
Exactly.
If there's 12 sand people, he's Jesus.
No, we already have Obi-Wan Kenobi.
The sand disciples.
In the form of Ewan McGregor. Ewan McGregor is Space Jesus.
Well, we'll see. I vote Boba for Jesus. You heard it here first.
But I think that kind of gets it for me. The second episode of Boba Fett here, the Tribes of Tatooine. Any last thoughts here, Joe?
Well, a lot of my theories were shot quite in the dark. That's okay. I'll give Mandalorian a good rewatch. Yeah. I don't know. Great episode. And I'm very excited.
I don't know about you guys.
Whatever comes next.
I've had the Book of Boba Fett theme song on repeat for 2 hours and 15 minutes now.
Yep, me too. Same here.
Which is just fucking awesome. But Miles, how'd you? Any last thoughts here?
Great episode. Joseph, I'll just say to you, even, don't feel bad. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. So at some point, you will be right again.
The sun will shine on us again, brother.
Yeah.
What if somehow it's Finnick? Still.
I mean, if you are right, if you are
imagine.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Just
this theory to me is actually less likely than any Ultron theory you've ever thrown out. So I'm willing to buy you a couple cases of beer if this one comes true. That's for sure.
Sick.
And Tillman, any last thoughts here on this episode?
Well, I'm excited just to see more of his back history because things are looking smooth right now, but some type of shit's gonna go down with him. Not with him.
Pop off.
Not with him versus the Sand people, I don't think, but something with he has to get separated, he has to leave them, or somebody has to come in and just mess some stuff up where he's like, okay, I gotta go get my gear, I gotta go get my ship, and it's time to just set it off. And that girl and that man's wife was hot as hell inside of the bar, hotel, or whatever it was, saloon.
I'm still Team Garza Flip.
Real Housewives of Tatooine, get it going.
Out here at Tashi Station. Posted up at Tashi State and looked like a fucking dime. But yeah, I think
that's why Luke wanted to go get some power converters.
Yo, they should do Real Housewives of It should be called Real Housewives of a Galaxy Far, Far Away. Get Natalie Portman up in there. That girl from Mad Bar / Loon. Leia can get up in there. The younger version. I'll take some CGI. Leia.
The slander that
CGI.
Padme Amidala and Leia Organa were housewives. I'm done.
Space Wives. Sorry,
Oh.
Space Wives of a Galaxy. Space Wives of a Galaxy Far, Far Away. There we go.
There we go. Now I'm in.
No, Padme was a fucking housewife.
She was a senator.
Bitch,
Um,
bitch died on the table.
she was a queen.
Bitch died on the table over a man who was toxic and didn't want her.
She got choked out,
didn't
bro.
want her.
And that's kinky. She should have liked that.
And Padme like stole her life force and then put
Literally
it into
all
Anakin.
he wanted.
You know? Is that like
Apparently
confirmed?
not. Apparently not, bro.
But with that,
He never
we will
said he wanted her.
conclude.
He never said he wanted her.
We'll conclude the Sarlacc Soundwave number 2.
No. When he said Padme, where is she? That man saw her as a concubine. He didn't care about her.
Okay, that I can get behind a little bit more. The statement that he's not really thinking about what she wants. He's thinking about what he wants. I can get with that.
It was the booty. He was in it for the booty. Okay, go ahead.
But with that, we'll conclude the Sarlacc Soundwave number 2. This was the Penny Bloom podcast. I was Colton Robertson, joined by Tillman McClunie. Thank you very much, homie.
Great, happy to talk about such a diverse show, diverse universe, and add more diversity to the podcast as usual. I'm happy to be back, and I hope to be back soon.
And I hope to have you back very soon as well. We were also joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Of course. Yeah, man. I fucking love you. Thank you, Miles Buttress, for being here.
Hey, man, always happy to join you. Happy to come back anytime.
Hey, how about next week even? Sarlacc Soundwave number 3?
Mayhaps.
If you would, head to patreon.com/CoroBloom, where you'll find over 20 hours of exclusive content, including a little 20-minute snippet from before we started recording this. It's a lot of fun. Talk about some stuff we've been watching throughout 2022, anticipation for Attack on Titan, and some more. Tillman's fucking rabid for some Attack on Titan, but
I just whacked myself with my own meat. Go ahead.
But and if you were fucking with me and Joe specifically, coming this Friday, we got 1972. We got our next episode on our 52-year journey through film. We're covering a movie from 1972. This week is The Godfather, which I'm very excited about. I'm ready for y'all to hear that. If you would, head to Twitter and follow @PennyBloomPod. Follow on Instagram @PennyBloomPodcast.
What's the MySpace?
MySpace.com/fuckyourself. I'm just kidding, Tilly. I love you.
Some of us broke out here, Nick.
Fucking ugly ass.
That's why you
Tom?
must be Jack because Jelly don't shake like that.
Remember, peace, love, and bloom like a panther.